So this goes away. I know you, let me, if I can move this, I can. But this is progesterone, believe me. All right. So progesterone goes towards cortisol, or it goes toward these mineral corticoids, and that's like uh, uh, magnesium and all these things. But I just want to focus here. So progesterone goes away because it's all going toward cortisol. But look what does happen. Now here, you can still make testosterone. So a lot of people, when they're low in progesterone, they begin to have male pattern hair baldness. I want to, if you have ever been pregnant, the baby's placenta makes a lot of progesterone. Progesterone is called progesterone because it promotes gestation. So you get this huge amount of progesterone when you're pregnant. And a lot of women will say their hair grew, their nails grew, they felt good because progesterone stimulates hair growth. All right. But when you don't have that, you can have hair thinning. That's why women who are menopausal, their hair thins and they grow a mustache because they start to make testosterone. And remember how I told you your fat tissue can make estrogen? Well, this is how it does it. When you don't have any progesterone, you can still go down this pathway. Here's testosterone, and in your fat tissue, you can convert that to estrogens. All right, so that's what I tell you. This is biochemistry or organic chemistry, and so that sounds like a big name, but I want you to see how when you're under stress, it causes the problems that we just talked about. It is a domino effect. You get too much of this, you get too much of this, and you get too much of this, and you don't get enough of that. So that's why I focus on you looking at your cortisol and your progesterone. We want to see how high or lower is this. We want to see how low is this so we can replace this. And once you replace this, you stop making testosterone and your hair can grow back. Your acne can get better because testosterone also causes acne. All right. So, Rebel, is this too complicated?
Wow, not too complicated, just a lot to process, to be honest with you. Because see, there, like you said, once you start that domino effect, how do you stop it? I mean, that
Yeah,
is, it's, and you know how fast dominoes can fall.
exactly. Exactly. So you got to go back to that first domino. What tipped over that first domino? It was this. Okay, so you got to figure out. So again, my 4-point stress reduction plan is one, get rid of the stress. Get rid of the stresses that you know about and get rid of the stresses that you don't know about, like a poor diet that's stressing out your gut, a poor environment at work that's stressing out your emotions, a poor exercise routine that's making you sedentary and causing problems. So you have to get rid of the stress. And now, if it's a bad relationship, get rid of those relationships. There's some stressors you can't get rid of. So now you have to change how you respond to those stressors. You have to change how you respond to your boss who stresses you out if you can't leave the job. You have to change how you respond to your sick child because you can't get rid of your children. Okay, so you have to change how you respond to the stress. What I'm talking about today is helping you to repair the damage caused by the stress. So we can measure this and say, here's the damage. You don't have enough progesterone. You're making too much testosterone. Your cortisol is even high or low. So let's repair the damage that has been caused. Let's repair your gut. Let's get your gut right. So you have to repair the damage, and then you have to prepare for future stress because more stress will come. But I don't want you to get bogged down by all of these chemical symbols. I just want you to look at these names. When you have too much stress, you're going to make plenty of testosterone, you're going to make plenty of estrogen, and you're not going to have a lot of progesterone. And when I see these women menopausally, they're getting estrogen and testosterone in pellets. Those are the two things that you really don't need. What you really need is to replace this. So that's what happens when you don't understand what is going on in your body, is that you think that the doctor knows more than you, but that's not necessarily so. All right. So if I have to come to this again, but I just want you to see, and this is a part of Ageless Blueprint, is that this diagram has been around for ages. I don't have to come up with something new to show you how your body works. It's written in stone. This is organic chemistry. This is just the chemistry of your body, and it's been around for a long time. And so, a lot of I hear all this. You got to have this new study or whatever. I don't care what the study shows. You can make a study show you anything that you want. What I want to know is the basic blueprint of how things work. And that's what I'm trying to give to you, is that basic blueprint of this is how things work. It doesn't matter what my opinion is. Doesn't matter what another doctor's opinion is. This is just how things work. I try to stop preaching on this subject, but I've been preaching this sermon for 25 years. And I've realized there's a whole new generation of people who haven't heard this. So that's why I'm on this crusade all of the sudden, because I've it's like deja vu. I've been here and done that before, but this is kind of like, Disney movies. There's always a new generation that needs to learn or needs to watch Lion King. So there's always a new generation that needs to understand how their body works. And one of the reasons why I'm on social media, on YouTube and all this, so that even when I'm dead and gone, maybe somebody will see this on YouTube and like, wow, now I really understand what's going on with myself. All right. Okay. I'm going to
questions before we move on.
Okay, go ahead.
All right.
Yeah,
if you have leaky gut, will it release through the body?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, skin eruptions. When you have leaky gut, this is what leaky gut is. Leaky gut, what's supposed to happen in your gut is that tube that runs from your mouth to your anus, it is supposed to absorb nutrients and it's supposed to get rid of toxins through your bowel movements. When you have leaky gut, that means that your gut is inflamed. And when your gut is inflamed, it gets leaky. You got to think about when your nose is inflamed, it gets leaky, right? It starts to leak out mucus. Well, what happens in the gut, you start to leak out undigested food. Okay, you should totally digest your food and you absorb the nutrients and you get rid of the toxins. Well, when you have leaky gut, the toxins get into the body, and the body has an inflammatory response because it's like, hey, I'm not supposed to see little pieces of chicken or little pieces of broccoli. And that's how you get food sensitivities, and they cause inflammation. And they don't cause the inflammation that someone has when they eat shellfish and their face blows up and they can't breathe. It's this low level of inflammation that can cause problems like hypertension and heart disease and things like that you don't know that it's an inflammatory process. It shows up as a symptom. So yes, leaky gut releases toxins in the body and causes inflammation. And you kind of have to think about, how do you feel right before you have a cold or you have the flu? You start to feel a little achy. You're like, I'm kind of tired. And then 2 or 3 days later, you're like, oh, I have the flu. Well, just think you never get the flu, but you stay in that low level of inflammation state for weeks or months or years. And that's what you get with the brain fog and all that. So anyway, I don't want to get too far on that, but that's what happens with leaky gut. Any other questions?
Yes, the next question.
Okay.
If a kidney is removed, what happens to the adrenal gland above it?
Well, it's like, thank goodness that you have 2 of those. Okay. And when, I told you your body wants to survive, even though we cut out things or whatever. So if you remove one, the other kidney takes over. And usually it takes over adequately unless there's some other issue going on. So your body just converts and it just makes the other kidney and adrenal gland work double time. And so it's kind of like your God made it where things that might go wrong, he gave you 2 of them. And luckily he gave you 2 kidneys. He or she gave you 2 kidneys, 2 adrenal glands. And that's why, people can survive with just 1 kidney.
Are they attached? I mean, if you remove the kidney, do they remove the adrenal gland?
Now, I'm not a kidney surgeon, but as far as I know, they're attached. Is that they're right on top of it. Maybe some skilled surgeon can separate those out, but as far as I know, again, this is what I tell everybody. I know what I know and I know what I don't know. But as far as I know, that kidney and the adrenal gland, because the medical name for a kidney is renal, renal. So adrenal means it's right on top of the of the kidney or the renal gland. So I would assume that both of those are removed if you've had your kidney removed.